Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's head-to-head comparison, let's take a look at the 2027 Infiniti QX65 Autograph and the 2026 Lexus RX350 Luxury. I borrowed the Lexus from Hendrick Lexus Northlake. Take a look at their link down in the description below. I've also made full detailed reviews on both of these models if you would like to check them out in their separate videos. But let's start off with the MSRPs. Both of these are right around $71,000, and of course that will vary depending on the trim level that you go with. But for the Lexus here, this is powered by a 2.4 liter inline 4-cylinder turbo. It's paired to an 8-speed automatic, pumps out 275 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. The Infiniti has a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo paired to a 9-speed automatic, and it pumps out 268 horsepower, 286 pound-feet of torque. Both of these models are all-wheel drive. The Infiniti weighs in around 4,700 pounds versus closer to 4,300 pounds for the Lexus, meaning that the Lexus will have a little bit better MPG. You're looking at 21 in the city, 28 out on the highway versus 20 and 26 for the Infiniti. Now, both of these do have the option of having the factory tow hitch. The Lexus, when properly equipped, can tow around 3,500 pounds versus closer to 6,000 pounds for the Infiniti. Now, you're not really buying these smaller vehicles for towing, but you do have those aspects depending on the smaller trailers, the bike racks, things like that, that you would like to hook up. But as we work our way to the exterior styling now, you'll notice we have two very distinctive front end designs. The Lexus has that hourglass design. The sensor is also within the badge. There's a forward camera, plenty of cutouts within that grille too, and then LEDs for all of the lighting, along with having parking sensors and fog lights in the lower section. For the Infiniti, the sensor is in the lower section, so it's not integrated into the logo. This model has a forward camera as well. Lots of cutouts, all the parking sensors, and then this has a separated housing for the DRLs and turn signals, and then headlights and high beams, versus having one housing on the Lexus there. And then you'll notice there's no fog lights for the Infiniti, so you just have the gloss black split in that lower section. Now, you have a few different wheel options that you can get for these models. You'll notice the Infiniti has a lot of gloss black. This model specifically has the two-tone paint design, which is an option and an upgrade. Versus the Lexus here, we have the body-colored fender arches and then a single color for the wheel. I think both look great for their separate models here. Now, this has a camera and a turn signal for the power folding side mirrors, and you have the same thing for the Lexus. Both of these will have a full moonroof along with roof racks as well. And then they both have that coupe-like design. So if you're looking for more of a sporty aspect to your smaller size SUV, you have that steeply raked rear glass to give it a fantastic look, but they are also practical at the same time. Now in back for the Lexus, there's the third brake light, wiper blade is up top, and then there's LEDs for all the lighting, backup camera, and then you have no visible exhaust. So you can see that if you go up underneath, but it just gives it more of a clean design for in back. And then as we work our way to the Infiniti, you have that same design. Third brake light, wiper blade up top, LEDs, the backup camera, parking sensors, and then same thing, the exhaust is hidden up underneath. And then as you can tell, this model is equipped with the factory hitch. And as we work our way to the cargo space, the Infiniti also features remote start, so you can use the key fob. You can also use the key fob to open up the lift gate, of course. And in back, you have a good bit of space. Now, this model has this optional cargo box that will Velcro to the floor, so that way it won't roll around. You have plenty of storage in the lower section. You can also fold the back seats down. You have some hooks too, and some tie downs in the lower section to safely secure items. There's also an area where you can place the cover as well. And then you have the controls up top that you can also use to close it. Now, as we work our way back to the Lexus, you have that control up underneath, or you can use the key fob. No remote start for this model. But in back, you have a decent amount of space as well. And under the floor, you have a full-size spare, a little bit of storage. You can also fold the back seats down. You have the cover currently installed on this model here. And then there's also some tie downs, so that way you can safely secure items as needed. And then up top, you have the same identical controls as the Infiniti. Now, as we work our way to the interior, you do have proximity door handles in back. The door handles are fixed to the bodywork. So there's the electronic release on the inside that you adjust. And then this model has the manual sunshades. There's Mark Levinson for the audio. You'll notice the Alcantara along with leather and stitching. You have the electronic release, or pull it twice for the manual release. And then you have storage in the lower section. Now the back seats here are fixed, so they don't move forwards or backwards, but you do have power adjustments located on the side where you can use those to recline and incline the seats, which is nice to see. Now this model has leather and Alcantara for the seating. You have storage pockets, you get heated and ventilated seats, auxiliaries, temperature adjustments. I have a good bit of leg space. And at 5'10", I have about 1.5 inches or so of headroom. So it's pretty spacious for this smaller vehicle. And you will notice in the middle, you have the armrest where you get storage, and you have cup holders that pop out of the end. Now you'll notice too, that cargo window is in front of the seats. So keep that in mind once we get to the Infiniti. That gives you a little bit better visibility around this pillar here, where you have the window trim accent and that thin window that comes to the back. You'll notice it's just a little bit different of a design for the Infiniti here, where the trim piece comes lower and it actually comes to a point rather than all the way to the back. But you do not have proximity door handles for the rear door handles on this model. You do not have the sunshade either. This model has the red leather interior. You get the Klipsch audio, some storage down below, and then these seats do move forwards and backwards. So that can adjust your leg space or your cargo space, and they are manual. So you have that control where you can easily fold the seat down and then pop them back up. Now in the back, you do get storage pockets. You only have heated seats, however. You have where you'd like the air to go, and then there's the fan speed as well. You have auxiliaries down below, and then at my height, I'd say I have about the same amount of headspace, but with the seat fully reclined. So with it all the way up, you do have a little bit less headspace than in the Lexus. You also have the armrest with cup holders and a little bit of storage, and then you'll notice the difference with the cargo window. It is blocked slightly by the headrest there, but nonetheless, you still have that larger window to be able to see. Now, as we work our way up front, you'll notice there's memory seating adjustments, window controls, side mirror adjustments, same design, of course, for the door panel. And then up front, this has speakers in the headrests, which is really neat. And once we hop in, as we start this up, this has the leather trimmed steering wheel. And you'll notice paddle shifters on both sides. We have a power adjustable steering wheel. There's cruise control settings along with distance pacing, voice commands, and then on the left side, there's volume tuning and the adjustments to go through the digital gauge cluster. So currently, you can scroll through all this information in what I'll call the smaller view. If you would like to see it in a larger view, let's say you're looking at the navigation, now you can pull everything up in full screen. So you can go through all this information regardless of if it's in the large view or the small view, depending on how you would like to see it. You can also get into your audio source and your driver assistance and set up some of that information. Now on the left side, there's the liftgate release. You can shut off the head-up display. There's a steering assist, one air vent, and then with the infotainment system, you have a good bit to go through. So the home screen has some split icons here that you can get into. You can quickly get into your map, your phone, along with the music there. You have voice commands, and then you do have a few icons here to further get into. Now underneath that, there's also a separated screen where you can get into all of your climates. You have heated and ventilated seats, the heated steering wheel. You can adjust the rears from up front. You have some audio adjustments as well. And then you have wireless charging, cup holders. This has the 360 camera system. So you have quite a lot of views. When you put it into drive, you can further pull up that 3D view to go around the vehicle, and you can also see underneath it too, which is neat. Now you have park and then a few different driving modes. So you can go through these depending on how you need that all-wheel drive system to react. You also have engine start stop, auto hold, and the e-brake. You have a separated control panel here for the infotainment system, so you don't have to use it as a touchscreen system, which is super helpful. You also have storage located underneath. You have storage with an auxiliary in the armrest, a locking glove box, and then up top, there's the digital rear view mirror. You have garage door buttons and then settings to go through that as needed. There's also a sunglass holder up top, dome lights, and then controls for the sunroof and sunshade, as those are both power operating. And then you'll notice you can see a little bit of that cargo window over the right side, as well as over the left shoulder too. So they are helpful from the driver's seat in your visibility. Now, as we work our way to the Lexus, this also has memory seating adjustments. However, they are located to the left of the steering wheel. You have your window controls, side mirror adjustments, which are power folding, and then your automatic release and your manual release. And then a little bit of storage down below. And you do not have speakers in the headrest, but I think you have a little bit nicer of a seat, especially with the Alcantara. And of course, they are power operating just like the Infiniti. Now, the start button is in a little bit different of a spot, and this model here has some wood trim accents along with the leather. Now, this also has paddle shifters, and then you'll notice with the controls on both sides, they are currently not labeled. That's because once you hover your finger on them, you can actually see on both the gauge cluster and the head-up display what those controls are. So just by going left to right, we have tuning at the moment. All the way down is voice commands, music is, or your phone is going to be up, and then you have your volume adjustments. If you push on the lower button, now we can change it to audio mode and you still have tuning. For the right side, we have cruise control setting with distance pacing currently set up. And if I push on them, now we have the head-up display and the information that you can go through to see what you would like on that. So once you get used to that tactile feedback and looking at what they are, it is really not all that confusing. Now, this also has an automatic steering wheel as well. And then on the left side, you get a little bit of storage. There's a fuel cap release, liftgate release, you have an odometer, along with one air vent there. For the rest of the gauge cluster, you do have 3 separate screens here that you can go through, and they are all customizable. So depending on what information you'd like to see on the left side and the right side, you can easily adjust that. And then you can, of course, go through the head-up display and view that information. Now, with the infotainment system, you have a lot to go through. You can get into the navigation when that's set up, your music and phone when that's paired, and then you have different driving modes, so those are located within the screen. You have your seat controls. You can fold all of them down, get into your driver assistance, where there's a lot of standard safety features. You have more settings to get into as well to customize this to your liking. And then underneath that, you have the heated and ventilated seats, heated steering wheel. You can get into some of the climate adjustments, even get into some more of your frequently used, your different driving modes. Basically, that's a shortcut page you can get into. You can also adjust the rears from up front. You have temperature, fan speed, where you'd like the air to go. There's some defrosters and volume right in the middle. Underneath that, you get parallel parking along with a view button for the camera system. So you have a few different angles that you can look at when the vehicle is in park. You have more air vents, more storage and auxiliaries, wireless charging, more auxiliaries down below. You have cup holders, and then you have your camera system here. So you do not have that 360 view. However, you do have some modes that you can go through, as I just showed with that view button. So you have your full screen here. You do have a top-down view. If you push on view again, now you can just get into this angle here. So you don't have that surround view like in the Infiniti, but you still have plenty of visibility. You also have park behind that. There's traction control, auto hold, a downhill assist with another off-road setting, and then the e-brake and auto hold. You can also open up the center storage 2 different ways, which is nice. There's a locking glove box, and then up top you have the digital rear view mirror. So identical to the Infiniti, where you have several different settings to get into. There's also a sunglass holder. You have dome lights and then controls for both that sunshade and sunroof. And then with those cargo windows, you can see just as well as the Infiniti. So it definitely gives you a good view with the rear end design. But with the exteriors and interiors wrapped up, let's get both of these out on the road and see how they drive. So we'll start off behind the wheel for the RX350 in sport mode second gear. Here we go. And just a minor acceleration up to speed. Paddles are very responsive, and this definitely has plenty of get up and go. So behind the wheel for this RX model, driver's seat is very comfortable. At 5'10", I currently have about 2 inches or so of headroom, and with it all the way down, it goes to about 3. If you move over to the sunroof here, it goes up to about 5 or so. So you have a good bit of space for your driver, really nice visibility out of the front here. And for this top trim level, we have some fantastic materials and a lot of great tech, as you've already seen. But this is something that is going to be very well refined feeling. It's very comfortable and smooth. You really just hear some of the engine noise under an acceleration. The rest of it is going to be nice and quiet. So this would make for a great daily driver if you're looking for luxury and you don't really need a big vehicle either. But you also want all of the latest tech features that some of the other competitors don't even offer in this model here. But it's a great option to go with, and you do have a few other trim levels if you aren't looking to spend quite this much. So let's hop into the Infiniti now and see what that's like. And behind the wheel for the Infiniti now, sport mode second gear, here we go. I can give a little bit more of an acceleration for this model here, but it's going to have about the similar feel for its get up and go. Horsepower and torque are slightly different, of course, but this nonetheless will still get up and move. So behind the wheel for the Infiniti, the driver's seat here has a really good, comfortable spot to it at 5'10". I have about 2.5 inches of headroom, and that significantly gets more with the seat all the way down, closer to 4.5, maybe 5. Visibility is also really good too, and I've been driving this for the last couple of days. It's been a really sound vehicle, very luxury focused. I'm not around Infiniti all that often, but this is definitely a very nice option, especially when you compare it to the Lexus. You have a luxury focused vehicle, very nice materials for this top trim level as well. And you have different ways you can spec it, of course, with the interior colors, same with the Lexus too. So you have a very nice vehicle, similar amount of space as you've been able to see, just to give you a very practical, smaller size vehicle with all the tech features. A little bit different of a design here, having the split. So if you don't want everything in the screen like the Lexus, you have this option here to go with the split screen style for all of those controls. So a little bit different in how their tech features work, but nearly identical. And I really haven't had any complaints driving this the last couple of days. So coming back to final thoughts now between the Infiniti and the Lexus. Both of these are fantastic smaller size SUVs that have a lot to offer. Personally, I don't know if I can pick between both of these. I'm a huge Toyota and Lexus fan. I do like the larger screen and the layout in the Lexus, but if you are looking to tow, maybe you have a very small trailer, you want to put some bikes on it, you can do that with the Lexus. However, you do have some more towing settings with the Infiniti if that is something you plan on doing with this smaller vehicle. But in general, you have about the same amount of space. You have a lot of nice options to go with. You have 3 trim levels for the Infiniti. You do have a few more for the Lexus, and the price does vary depending on what you are looking to get. So if you want a smaller luxury-focused SUV with that coupe-like design, you can't go wrong with either of these models. Personally, I think I would lean towards the Lexus more, but I like that Infiniti has introduced this all-new model to compete in this segment. So this is a really neat vehicle to check out and brought to the market. So comment down below, let me know your thoughts. Would you go with the Lexus or would you go with the Infiniti? If you enjoyed today's video, give it a huge thumbs up and consider smashing that subscribe button so you can stay up to date with our daily uploads. And I will see you all in the next video.